Hi guys, this is Tony here from Metal Roos. You're about to sit down and enjoy an interview I just did um, over there, and so do like and subscribe so you can get all this straight into your streaming and into your consciousness as soon as it arrives. So enjoy the interview, and I will. Over to you, Tony.
Good.
Well, as always,
Good.
um,
Morning. You're
morning.
you're in my you're in my future.
That's it. I am. Yes, I'm older than you. It's by 11 hours or 16 hours or whatever it's over there.
Yeah, I think it's like 15 hours. Yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
crazy, isn't it? To think of the world like that. It's nuts.
Yep.
But thanks for coming on and having a chat,
My
Steve. It's
pleasure.
it, it's interesting album that's coming out from you very soon. Gold Star. I very much enjoyed it, I have to
Thank
say.
you.
It's I'm getting lost for words because I really enjoyed it. I keep listening to it, and every time I listen to it, I hear something different, which is the joyousness of music. Is that the right word? The joy of music and what kind of music that you make. As particularly,
Definitely.
yeah, because your stuff is very, I like the word esoteric, but um, it's unusual in the world of modern in the modern world of metal, isn't it? Would you not say? But it's different. It's outside the borders of traditional music in that respect.
Yes, I would say that. It's
On the
out
edges,
of the out of the
out of the
box, so to
box.
speak.
That's right. That's the right word to say it because
Yeah.
it's accessible. It's just out. It sits outside of the mainstream. I think is probably the right way of saying that, isn't it?
Yeah, probably not too many people would consider us mainstream.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know what? Glory be to that because in some respects, it makes what you can do a little bit more you, isn't it? You have the flexibility and the ability to do anything and anything you want and everything you want without having to worry about those boxes that people put people in, which is what makes your music so great, mate. Like you don't have to go, oh well, the record company want this sound, you know.
Yeah, I mean we're kind of lucky with the record company because they like us.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I of course I like what we're doing. Obviously, I'm in the
Mm,
band,
mm,
but yeah, also just the industry is it's a weird business, the music business, especially these days, you know.
mm.
And it's just cool that they like us and support us, really, because we are definitely on the more obscure end of things, you know.
But that's the right thing, though. See, that's what record labels should be doing. That's what they used to do. They had they used to, that years have gone by. They'd had their mainstream labels that made all their money, and then they would help push unusual stuff or individual stuff, because they had that money from that stream to come over to you to go, hey, come on, we're going to make more Imperial Triumphant. Like, let's do that. Um,
Indeed.
for those that in the know. I mean,
Yeah.
I was listening back to your back catalogue, and some of the stuff that you've done, it blows my mind because if you don't know you, and some of these guys are watching this video might not know you, you're very much a jazz infusion kind of. It's a difficult box to put you in because I don't like put people in boxes anyway. But it's a it's a difficult sound to describe. But some of the stuff you cover, Dizzy Gillespie and Rush and Metallica and it's just crazy. Some of those stuff you've done, but when you listen to your actual albums, um, they just have such a unique New York sound. Can I say that? Is that? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, New York City.
Mm.
I actually don't live there anymore. I moved
Mm.
in September. I just moved out of
Oh,
there.
okay.
But I'm from there, and I
Mm.
spent the better portion of my existence there.
Mm.
And I left happily, I might
Oh,
say.
good, good.
But I'm currently in Nashville, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But the city is, every city is its own personality, right?
Mm.
So to speak. And obviously, the bigger cities are crazier. They're harder to live in, right?
Mm.
Quality of life is lower, right? In
Yes.
most of them, I
Mm.
maybe Tokyo might be an exception to that rule, right? But
Yeah.
but most big cities, the quality of life is lower than smaller towns, let's say,
Mm.
right? And on top of that, there's a chaos involved in a place like New York, Also, historically, New York has a lot of connections to the dark side, you know? And so there's no shortage of material for an extreme metal band, let's put it that way, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that myself this morning listening to the new album, actually. Yes.
Yeah, we like if even if we just spent the rest of our career as a band only writing about New York City and it being the apex of evil, so to speak, we will probably would never run out of material.
Yeah.
But obviously we don't only write about New York City. But it's a big part of it. Also, the three of us came together there, so
Mm,
that has something to do with the big consciousness or the universal rails or whatever, however you want to look at it, right?
mm.
That's and so that definitely is, of course, in the music, and there's also the music history, at least in the United States. Um, New York City played a big role. There was always lots of musicians
Oh
there and
God, yes.
composers, and the jazz scene was pretty strong in New York City in the early part of the 20th century and that kind of stuff.
And that's what I feel when I listen to yours, because there is that jazz influence, and you can hear it, particularly right from the beginning. There is no way getting away from it. That jazz is in the roots of the music that is there that you play. And I've been to New York a couple of times, and mainly back in the '80s, mind you. I haven't been for a long time, but when I was there, I just remember the music scene being so. It mimicked the city in some respects, like it was chaotic. Yeah, it mimicked it
In
completely.
the 1980s, the music scene in New York was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I went
Yeah.
every night something different. It was like crazy stuff. And, from the, lounge jazz to blues to heavy metal to punk, everything was there. And you could do it within walking distance of anything. And it was just so wonderful. And it comes across, I think, sort of in your DNA of your music, like Lexington, the new single, Lexington, ah, it has that sort of real vibe of the city sound. It sounds like a busy city in the music, in the darkness of it. Like you said, it captures the darkness of that city, as we know, has an underground darkness like most major cities, right?
Yeah, and we were so unbelievably fortunate that we got to film the music video up on top of the Chrysler Building.
How I love that building, unbelievable! Like, like how it's like crazy.
Probably that building has a wild history too, and also
Mm.
it's probably the most iconic building in North America, I would say,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yeah,
mean, I remember it from the Cohen film, Cue the Winged Serpent, when the beast is living in the
absolutely.
top. And as a young boy, I remember watching it and going, I really want to go to that building. And I've only ever seen it from the other side, like up on top of the Empire State. I haven't been in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, the Empire State Building, you can go to the top. It's public space, but the
Yeah.
Chrysler Building is
No.
private. No,
How
no one's
great is
allowed
that?
up there. Yeah, yeah,
So lucky to do that, man.
yeah. So we wanted to do it a number of years ago. We just
Yeah.
kept. I guess we manifested it somehow.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, that again, that's the beauty of this kind of music that you're making. Like Wing Killing Joke recorded in the temple, the King's Chamber in Egypt. It's one of those things that
That's
bands do
so.
these things.
How
Yeah, I
cool
know.
is that?
Crazy, right? Uh,
Actually, I would love to take Imperial to Giza.
oh, do it.
That would. I
Yes.
mean, if we could, even just for a photo, you know what I mean? That would be.
Oh, your full outfits. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
amazing. That'd be amazing. Now, the album itself has some really interesting people on it. You've got Tom Lombardo on there, right?
Dave, yeah,
Dave, so Dave Lombardo. I always call him Tom. It's a weird thing. I've got a mate of mine who's a drummer called Lombardo. I call him Tom.
Tom Araya, Dave
Yes,
Lombardo.
that's it.
There's the
Oh,
connect. There's the
that's it.
connect.
Oh. So Dave Lombardo, right? So you've got him there, and also you've got Thomas from Meshuggah on it as well, and Yoshiki Ohara, if I can say that correctly.
Oh,
Uh,
Yoshiko. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yoshiko. That's great lineup, mate. It's just astounding that someone like Dave would come along and play that kind of tune. Like
I
I've only
mean,
ever seen him butcher. I'm not disrespect. I've only ever seen him really. He's pushed me back with his drums. I've stood front row when he's hit the drums. I felt back, right? with the power of his drums, and there's so much finesse in the tracks that he's playing on. That,
Yeah, no, but Dave is actually he's a amazing musician, like
oh
all
yeah,
around.
yeah.
And he plays all kinds of music, and his post Slayer career has been really interesting, actually, all the different projects he's been part of,
Mm.
and what he gets called for, and the fact that he said okay to being a guest on our record is pretty amazing.
It's
So
wonderful, isn't it?
we're ecstatic, and he's super cool. He's such a cool dude, so like it's pretty awesome.
You get that feeling. I've seen interviews with him that he's nice and laid back kind of guy, and you think, because the music that he played in his past, it doesn't
Yeah, I
it
mean,
doesn't correlate.
yeah, I mean, we can't deny the impact that Slayer made in the world of metal. I mean,
Mm.
it's a long time ago these days, but at the time, like when Hell Awaits came out, nobody, there was really not much music that sounded like that.
No,
So
no, no.
we have to always put it into context of the time to remember how actually forward thinking they really were as a band, right?
Well, man, I saw them during the Rain of Blood tour when I was 16, and
That's
yeah,
amazing.
it blew my mind. Like
I
because
saw I saw the South of Heaven tour when I was like
oh
15 years old, man.
Jesus, and I wasn't expecting it
And it
because I
blew
hadn't
my
heard.
mind.
It blew mine because I had not really experienced them. It was a friend of mine said, "Come on, this band's amazing," and I'm like, okay, because in the UK then they were underground. They weren't
Yeah.
like and I went there and that whole opening live bit, the backs to the audience and the red and the whole thing, it's a
You
blur
saw
now. Yeah.
you were in the UK when you saw
Yep.
them? Are
Yep.
you originally from the UK?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I hear that. I was going to say you don't sound Australian
No,
to
no, I'm
me.
from London.
Oh
That's,
yeah, okay, right on, right on. But so you saw them in London?
I saw him in London. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Hammersmith Odeon, I think it was, if I remember rightly.
Sick.
Bloody
I
amazing, man.
remember the South of Heaven tour. First of all, I loved South of Heaven. I loved Rain and Blood and South of Heaven. Those two albums to me go
Oh,
together.
yeah, they do.
They're kind of like the apex of Slayer to me,
Mm.
right? And Rick Rubin was involved and all that
Oh,
kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And I saw them, and the funny thing is, Danzig opened, and that was also great. Like the whole show was amazing, So it was
Jesus.
Danzig and Slayer, and that was the tour.
Wow. I think the opening for us was Helmet. I
Oh,
think
Helmet.
it was
That's
Helmet
cool too. That's cool too.
from memory, but like I have
Yeah.
to go back and check it. I don't remember too much of the opening because I did get a
I
little
just
bit.
remember I remember getting the cassettes from my friends. Like that's
Yeah.
how we got into music back then, right?
Yes, I know.
It
Yep.
was cassettes and underground word of
Yep.
mouth, basically,
I
like
was getting them
especially
from
metal.
I was getting them from the music press. You'd go to the back of the music press and you'd write off to someone in America and say, "Hey," and they'd swap tapes. I'd send them something from us, like, and they'd send something from them, and it was such a great, and I've still got them.
So cool.
It's so cool, right? Because it was a real connection. I think now, sadly, in mainstream music, that is lost. That connect. We had that wonderful connection because we, at a click of a finger, we can say, "Hey," which is wonderful, but the mystery is missing. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I do I don't. I think there are many amazing things current in our current time, and
Mm,
I love a lot of what's happening in
mm,
technology and life and consciousness and all the different levels that we're reaching and evolving as
mm.
a species. But there is a little something that I miss from the time that like you and I came up listening to metal. And I remember we had this store in the town where I grew up because I actually grew up in the suburbs of New York City,
You're right.
and then I spent 25 years in the city. So, but in the town I grew up in, my pals and I, my metal friends, we would go to this place that was called Tapeville, USA.
Oh, what a great name.
It was, I mean, man, Tony, it was the coolest place in the world. Like we go in there and it
Oh,
was just metal tapestries, all the metal things, the chokers and the jewelry, all the pins, Iron
patches.
Maiden.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was just everywhere, and there was a couple that owned it and operated it, and they were really cool, and we knew them, and they knew us, and like I feel
Oh,
like that like sort of organic community
yes.
is
It's the
not the
right word.
same.
No, it
It's
isn't.
not the same,
No.
because we exist in the glass box on the phone, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I
Yep.
love that I can keep in touch with people around the world. We
Oh
can do
no,
this,
we can do
you
this.
know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
I love all of it, but I do, I'll say this. I'm glad I got to experience
yeah.
Tapeville, USA. You know what I
Thank you.
mean?
Exactly right. I was just say we had that experience. We were pre-interneters, right? We had that.
Yeah.
We had the joy of doing that, but spending all your money on an album because the cover looked good, getting home and it was crap. But you went okay, but I didn't know because I just the cover looked good. We didn't have the way of
Yes.
just going and listening to the album.
Nope.
You just get it home, and go wow, that looks amazing, and you put it on and go what the hell, what is this?
It was amazing. That's the
Or
thing.
yeah, or conversely, you go wow, this is amazing. What the hell is this? Where did
And
this come from?
interesting point about Imperial Triumphant is that if you talk to the three of us, we're three different generations. So like,
Ah.
so yeah, so each of us has a different like way that we came up, which is actually a part of something I really enjoy about the band, actually.
And that's probably why you get that sound because there is a different influence. You're not all from the same suburb, growing up as school kids like a lot of these bands.
Nope.
Someone's bringing this influence in. You're
Yeah,
bringing this one in.
Kenny brings like his whole entire thing. Zach's got his whole entire thing, so it's pretty cool actually.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, New York has that wonderful thing, the punk scene, the hardcore scene that sort of moved into extreme metal.
That's when you and I were teenagers.
Yes, yes, it
Because
was.
the punk scene in New York City was very strong.
Oh yeah,
In,
mate.
in fact, a lot of people don't really realize that punk really actually a lot of people think it was birthed in London,
No.
but really it was birthed in the suburbs of New York City, New
It was.
Jersey.
It was,
Yeah.
but it was politicized in the UK. So,
Absolutely. I mean, it was very
yeah,
strong. It was strong
yeah.
in the UK also, but it
It was
started. It was
born in
a
America.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a seed in the suburbs
Yeah.
of New York. So
Yeah.
it was really fascinating. I mean, I can't believe I grew up like I lived through that.
It's amazing, isn't it? I feel the same,
Dudes with mohawks walking
Yep.
around everywhere and shit, man. It was crazy.
My brother was one of the. Well, I used to hang around the sex store in London here, Vivian Westwood's store, and he had big Mohican. He'd come home and he had all the gear on. I've still got a lot of his t-shirts,
Yeah, it
and
was so
it's
cool.
quite, mate. I've got a big tattoo of Sid Vicious on my back for a reason, right? Like there's something about that anarchy that
It
comes through
really,
to your music. Yeah.
yes, anarchy, right? Well, Sid Vicious,
Mm.
he
Oh
kind
yeah.
of brought that word into it really strong, right?
Yeah.
Actually, if we think about it, we could take it back to the Ramones, and they're actually
Oh,
from New York.
I love the Ramones.
Yeah,
There
they're
is
from
some. Yeah.
they're from Queens, right?
Yeah.
So
What a
so I
band.
guess that's even earlier than what I was thinking. I guess
Mm.
because they're like what, the late 1960s, right?
Late 70s,
Oh, they, oh,
76.
they,
Yeah,
oh, they
75,
started in the
76. Yeah,
70s. Oh, okay,
yeah,
so then
yeah,
I'm wrong. Nope,
yeah,
then I was right. Then it's Jersey because
yeah.
the Misfits came out of Lodi, New Jersey,
Oh, Misfits. Yeah.
and that was like 1971, I think, right,
Yes,
or something like
yes,
that.
yes.
I even like the other weird bands like Sam Hain.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, like that was another Glenn Danzig thing with
Yep.
one of the dudes from the Misfits, and I loved all those iterations of music.
Well, you're so lucky because you and I'm from London, you're from New York. We were both very lucky that we grew up in scenes that were very saturated. Like where I grew, I have four brothers, and one would listen to reggae, one was listening to punk, one was into heavy metal, one was into classical, or prog, which I love. Yeah, all this sort of stuff. And I could go to any record store, anyone, and just pick something different up. It's a bit different now. It seems to be sanitized, and quantisized, right? But music like yours, though, Steve, mate, music like yours is what makes me smile on a daily basis because I go to it and I know that there's people out there that are still making this music. They're still making something that for them and then for them, for other people, right? It's not, you're not making it for faceless idiots. You're doing it for you and then, and for the people who like your music, but firstly for you, which is the most important thing.
Definitely, but I have to say, like connecting with people, to me
Mm.
is that's the biggest, most amazing part about music to me.
Oh no, I think you're right. I mean, going to live music, particularly live music, is such an. I mean, I'm an old man now, right? And I go to these things.
You and me
Yeah,
both.
I go to these gigs, and I'm 16 again. You know,
Exactly.
I go there, I'm at the front, and my soul and energy is reborn. I can't, I will never age, man. I mean that sincerely.
No,
This
no,
might
no, no.
decay, right?
That's this is just only one part of it, though.
Yeah. But your music and
The
yeah,
existence is way
yeah,
bigger.
yeah, your
You
music
know,
and bands like that. Yep. Yep.
last year we did a tour with Abath, from Immortal.
I love him.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
what a dude.
me too. But I'm just bringing it up because at some of the shows, when I got to watch their full set and really enjoy it just as a fan,
Yeah.
because we were already done with our set, right? And
Yeah.
then they were headlining. There were a couple nights where I felt like I was 12 years old,
Oh, wonderful, isn't it?
just because I was just enjoying them ripping. You
It's
know what I mean?
wonderful.
Yeah,
It is wonderful. It is,
yeah.
and I'm one of these people that can never stand at the back. Whatever happens, I'm always going to be right on the barrier,
Yeah.
unless I'm
Mhm.
with people that won't go, fair enough. But if I'm on my own, I'm at the barrier because I want to be this close to the musician. I get the energy from them, and then I give it back.
Absolutely. The interesting thing about growing up in a place like London or New York, obviously those two cities are very similar.
Mm,
And just think about all the music that passed through both of those cities. Think about all the music that came out of London, which is really insane. Actually, if
it's
you think
insane.
about it, I would say there's probably more bands that came out of London than New York,
Mm.
because you also got to think about like the crazy pop scene, like in the 1980s, like Depeche Mode, and
Oh God,
all
yeah,
these all these Duran Duran,
man.
like
Yeah.
all these crazy English bands that were so good,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I remember, Depeche Mode, like when they would just stand on the stage with just like synths,
yeah,
right?
and dead still, like
Dead still,
yeah.
and it was just like each dude had a synth, and they just played this dark pop shit that was so
Oh.
fucking cool, right?
Yeah. OMD. Oh yeah, man. All that
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
man.
man. Oh yeah.
OMD.
So that always fascinated me, even when I was a kid too. Just like thinking about all the music that passed through those two cities, right?
Yeah.
You could sort of loop Los Angeles in there, kind of
Mm,
too, because
mm.
there was definitely I don't think these cities are anything like that anymore, by the way.
No,
I think
no.
we're transitioning into a whole different existence.
Yeah. Yes.
But LA had maybe arguably even a higher concentration of creative people all in the same place because of the movie industry, right?
Oh yes. Yes. Yeah.
So it's there was a lot of interesting things going on. But the funny thing is I always think about is that most of my favorite bands are not from New York. So, I don't
Interesting.
know what that means, but.
Oh, because you know why? Because I think you and I were lucky. We were saturated by the sound that you look outside. Because you've got it's like having a nice it's like eating well at home every day. Just every now and again you want to eat out, you want to try something different, reach out beyond. And then when you reach out beyond, you find these amazing things that you then you consume always. I mean, I think that your music go back to what you said before, and I actually just thought of it then. The darkness of London, the darkness of New York, there's such an underground bubbling darkness in both of those cities, such a
Bo-
seething
Both of
it's
them. Both of them.
both of them,
Yeah.
and when it's such a place to create dark music,
Yes.
but your music, interestingly, Steve, is dark. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's extreme music. Let's be honest. It's extreme, but it has a beauty to it. There's a melody to it. There's a softness to its edge that you don't hear unless you want to try and hear it. Sometimes people put on extreme music and they walk over it, and go, "No, I can't. It doesn't. It's just noise."
It sounds like noise to them.
It's
Yeah.
just noise. But I always say, listen, sit back and give it a go. You will hear the melody, like the vocals. Some people go, "Oh, I don't like death metal. I don't like extreme vocals." And I used to say to people, don't listen to it as I'm singing. Think of it as an instrument. If you close your eyes and don't worry about what he's saying, just listen to the tones he's bringing or she's bringing. You're going to get the feeling of the album. I think if you go there with a negative thought that it's too heavy or too strong or too dark or too aggressive, you're never going to break into it, and you won't see the beautiful melodies that you create.
That's really cool that you say that because actually that's how I think of it, really, because
Mm,
to me music obviously it's subjective
mm,
and everyone has a different like referential foundation for what sounds extreme to them and not, right?
mm.
Like to me
Yeah.
everything we do sounds perfectly harmonious,
Yeah, of
right? Like I
course,
don't
of course.
I don't hear it really as like dissonant in that sense.
Mm,
But beyond that, because music is so much bigger than we are, you know, like we're
Ooh,
just channeling something, right? I mean,
that's right.
think about all these mystical people with very huge brains that were drawn to music, like Pythagoras and, you know,
Mm,
all these different people throughout history that they were trying to figure out the mystery of music, right? Because it really is a mystery. We still have no idea what it is, really.
no,
You know,
no,
it's
it's
like electricity.
ethereal. Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
electricity, you know,
yeah.
like we really have no idea. These are just forces that exist in the universe, and you know, some ancient cultures say that you know the universe was birthed through a song. I think the Aborigines actually
Yes, that's
that's their
it.
thing.
Yep.
So if you look at that as allegory, right, which most of that stuff usually is, you can say like sound is such a powerful force that it might very well be the creation force of the universe for all we know.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
who
yeah,
knows?
yeah.
Like it's very healing. There's so many different things that sound does, and you know, music is an extension of that, right? In
Mm,
the most direct sense. So to me, the beauty part is what it's all about. Like that's the whole
yeah.
thing. It's like what was that Mel Brooks movie, Young
I
Frankenstein? Like
love it. Yes,
every time she plays the violin, right? Like all of a
yes,
sudden he's chill, right? You know
yeah.
what I mean,
Yeah,
right?
exactly right. But also, you're right because long gone when you and I are long gone from this place, your music will still be here. Beethoven has been dead 400 years or whatever it is, but his music is still played every single day and
And I still
still
love it, by
loved.
the way.
So do I. Of
And I
course, I
still love
love
it,
it.
by the way.
Uh,
Yeah.
and that's the point, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
you're very blessed, I think. I always look at people who can create as well as you can because I'm a quite a bad bass player. I get by, right? But
You're
you
playing the
guys,
best instrument, though.
I am indeed. I am indeed. Only because I wanted to play lead when I was a teenager, but I couldn't get into bands because everyone had guitarists. So I picked up the bass and fell in love with it, man. And I've
It's
been listening.
amazing.
I've been listening to the Who since I was a young boy. So Johnny
John
Entwistle
Entwistle is the
he's in my
sickest.
DNA, right? And
Yeah.
so it was sort of came through. But I look at the people like you and I put your records on and I go, God, man, where does that come from? But particularly your kind of music because it is so transcendental in a very I think it's transcendental. I put it on and I relax to it in a strain. I know that a lot of people get up and get really busy with it, but I put your stuff on and I'll sit back in a dark room, no lights on,
Yeah, I mean,
see a glass of
that's how I
whiskey.
listen to it.
Yep, glass of whiskey, lights off, no one around. I'll take it that way,
Yeah.
because I can jump into the spaces between the notes and the spaces outside the notes if I've got no distraction. And that's how I like to do it. And I think that your stuff has that. It's right in that sweet spot, mate, Steve. It's in that, and every time I said before at the beginning, every time I put it on, I find something different. So when listeners listen to it, I urge them, people who listen to this, watching this video, listen to it over and over and over, right? Get it really in your DNA because it's such a great album. And I love, by the way, also I love what you put on the cover, 9 plus A tunes.
Oh yeah, Zach. I love the way all of that evolved because Zach was actually getting interested in like old cigarette advertisements and like the marketing behind it all because
Yeah, it's great.
they those companies had very good marketing behind them, right? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and so they came up with some of the coolest looking ads and graphics
I
and art and
love it.
everything. So that was kind of how all that sort of started and spawned, you know.
I put it
And
on,
then
I
of course
smiled.
I just have to make a quick shout out to
Yeah,
Zbigniew Bialik who did our cover, you know,
yeah,
the
it's great
artwork.
cover. It's great cover.
He's amazing, man. He's
Yeah,
amazing.
but it matches the music brilliantly. It has that kind of,
Somehow it really does.
it's that
Yeah.
kind of metropolis, that kind
Yeah.
of German,
Yeah.
sort of, what's the word? Not neoclassical, German,
Impressionism maybe.
impressionism. Yeah, there's that
Yeah.
German impressionist cinema feel.
Yeah.
That Dr. Caligari, that kind of creativity to it, without being too.
All the Fritz Lang
All the
films.
Fritz Lang movies, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, has
yeah,
all that
yeah.
without feeling like it's because a lot of those Fritz Lang movies were like was filmed meant to be in, it's built, it looks like New York,
I
like, but
love that movie.
it's
I
a
love
great,
that movie.
it's very disturbing. Uh,
It's dark as all hell.
Whoa,
Yes.
yes, I
Yes.
studied at art college. I did that one and I did Caligari, and it was like, whoa, this is which is for its time, it's very future forward thinking because
Very.
it's amazing it wasn't banned in
Yeah.
every country possible because it's
Seriously.
so dark.
Yep.
Oh, just brilliant. But that, and
Yep.
again, that's where your music and your art connects to it's a very visual music, a visual form of audio, I think,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I do feel like Imperial has like a cinematic quality, you know, like because we're all into films, the three of us, so
Yeah,
kind of makes sense, right? You know,
yeah, yeah.
and
It's
film films with good music are some of my favorite films, you know, right? So
yeah, well, exactly right. That's what it
they're
all becomes
connected.
that way. It's all connected, mate. Anyway,
Yeah.
but running out of time, unfortunately, mate. I
Okay.
could talk all day. I really could. I love this conversation. Oh my God. Thanks
We'll
for
do it
coming
again
on. Yeah,
sometime.
we'd have to, man.
Yeah.
Good luck with the album coming out. I hope it blows the roof off because people are going to love it, mate. You should be very proud of it.
Thank you, Tony. And
It's,
I just want to say real quick,
yeah.
we have a lot of touring planned.
Ooh.
I can't say what it all is, but maybe even you in Australia might be seeing us.
Whoa, that would be outstanding, man.
I would love nothing more than to see you at a show, you know?
Oh my God, that would be
And
amazing.
Portal, and Portal.
Oh yes, yes, brilliant, fantastic. But
So,
okay, yeah. So enjoy the rest of your day. I've loved the
thank you,
chat.
man.
Thank you, mate. I love the album. I'm gonna go to a darkened room tonight and put it back on again because it's the best way to listen to it.
Fabulous.
You get every note comes in and you won't miss every note. It's just there. But again, loved it, mate. Loved it. Thanks again, man. And good luck with settling into your new place. And I love the bass behind it, by the way.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to. I've been looking at it all the interview. Go, that's nice. Like, ooh, ooh.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I only play Fender Jazz. The Fender Jazz is my guitar.
Yeah,
Um,
that's I mean, I actually love all kinds of basses, but the
yeah,
jazz bass to me is like the original cool bass.
it is, man. I've got a '72 Jazz, and it's like it has the most beautiful neck. Like it's just so playable.
This one's a Fender Japan one, which is incredible.
They make brilliant ones, the
Oh,
Japanese
man,
Fenders,
the
mate.
Japanese are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple of Japanese '70s, those '70s Gibson.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, ones.
When they were almost like making them better than we were
Yeah,
here in the USA, you know?
mate, I have. I've got a tobacco sunburst Gibson Les Paul, and that thing weighs an absolute ton. It is the heaviest thing I've ever owned, and I still own. But bloody hell, that I can only play blues on it though. If I sit there and play, it's only blues. It will not let me do anything else.
Is it like a Bernie or a
Yes,
Greco or something? Oh,
yeah,
it's a
like a Bernie.
Bernie.
Yeah.
The Bernies were great.
Mate, and it sounds. I can't play anything else. I've tried. I pick it up. It
Right.
tells me you're playing blues only, man. I can't do anything else. I go there, and I'm suddenly in the blues. I'm doing all this augmented stuff. I'm like, that's not. I want to play some heavy. No, but if I pick up my Ibanez,
No problem.
oh no
Yeah.
problem. But
Right.
pick it up, and it's like you're playing blues, man. It's sort of like in its DNA. It's so true, right?
And Japanese no less.
And Japanese. So it's
That's
like, where does that come from?
I'm so ignorant. I just learned recently that the Japanese culture is 16,000 years
Oh
old.
yes, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's
Blows
crazy.
my mind, man.
16,000.
That's unbelievable.
If you think that in the UK, particularly in the UK, we go back, like the human beings have been here a long time, but 4,000 years is probably as far back as we can take it to find, and even then, nothing written, nothing kept, but stone tools, right? 16,000. I mean, the Aboriginal is 60,000 years,
Oh, I know, man.
right?
And,
60,000 years.
the American Indians here are 20 or 30,000 years.
It's a wonderful, right? It's
Amazing.
that, and there's where all it comes from, man. It's
But
deep
you know
within
what's cool?
there.
You know what's cool about England, though, man,
Yeah.
is that it's the most medieval country
I know
in the
it's
world.
wonderful, and I love medieval history. So for me, it's something I love it. So
Yeah,
it's in my. I
me
go back to
too.
it all the
Me
time,
too.
man. I'm always
Yeah,
watching
man.
videos about medieval history. It's like, yeah, I'm on that one. That's it.
Dude, whenever I'm over there, I'm just like, this is the most medieval place on Earth, man.
It
You
it
know?
really is. It's the center of the
Yeah.
medieval universe. It
Yes.
truly is. Yeah. It's
So
wonderful.
sick. Yeah.
But I can't wait if you come over. That'd be amazing. Good luck
Yes.
with touring this new album.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, good luck with touring the new album. Good luck with it and all the art talking you're going to have to do about it. And I know it's a lot to do, but it's well deserved because it's just. I've said it before and I'll say it again, mate. It's. I think it's your best one. And 6 albums and 3 EPs. This is for me. Um, top of the table
Thank you, Tony.
because I've sat back and just consumed it, and it's stuck in my head, and I think that's something that says a powerful thing about your art. That if it sticks with you, that's the key, isn't it? Walk away thinking about it. I walk away. I was walking away. I was walking around the house today just thinking about it. So it was like, yeah, that's
So cool.
so cool, right?
Yeah.
It's just wonderful, and you and I have that love. It's a wonderful love that we can take to music. It's not throwaway. I don't mind throwing music. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy throwing away music. Pop music has its place. Music to
Yeah.
go away in the background, but there's something when
Oh,
it lives with you.
I love all music, man.
Same
All
here.
of
Same
it.
here.
As long as it's good. As long as it's
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Well, that is right. And it's it's not just out of the little box and no one's not actually working. But we won't go into that. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to be that person.
Hey,
But
man, listen. Michael Jackson was
I
awesome
know,
too,
genius. Yeah,
and he was considered total pop, right? But
yeah.
meanwhile, you listen to some of the, like Thriller and Bad, like that
Oh, mate.
shit's the thing, man.
I bought Thriller when it came out. I remember and being the most excited I've ever been in my life because I love horror movies and
It was
Rick
pretty
Baker.
heavy too, man.
It
That
was
music was
heavy.
pretty. It was pretty heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Rick Baker had done the special effects for the single, and I was like, oh my
Oh
God,
yeah.
American
Oh
Werewolf for
yeah.
London, this is amazing. So
And Quincy Jones and all that stuff. Man.
ah,
Amazing, amazing shit. Amazing shit.
we lived through the best times, man, and there's more
I
times to
agree.
come. I hope there's more times to come. You never know. You never know what the next day is going to bring, right? Yeah,
You
just
don't. I
never
mean,
know.
You know what? We're alive right now, so this is technically the best time.
But golden, you said
We're
it.
here.
You
We're
said
here
it.
in the. We're here in this present time. So there's no time better, right? You know.
Mate, you said it, man. Golden. Well, keep going, man. I should really go. I have to go.
Yeah.
But thanks for chatting, and yeah, again, top A album, man. We'll chat again soon. Hopefully
Thank you, Tony.
in person. Or
Yes, I would love that.
I'd love it, man. Say hello to the guys for me.
I will.
See you, man.